And welcome back to the program, everyone, on this Saturday morning. Great to have you joining us. Sorry, that last segment there, we were unable to get our second guest. That's too bad, because I think the product sounds really interesting, but we really didn't get to learn that much about it. So they're bad, in my opinion. 9:49 the time. We just have 10 minutes left and just enough time to talk about owl boxes. And owl boxes are the new way to control, well, really maybe the old way to control pests in the vineyard, but certainly a way that it is picking up steam here on the Central Coast as wineries try to go more organic, more sustainable, more SIP certified. I'm your host, Randall White, and we welcome Walt Weller with his company, Central Coast Owl Boxes, to the program. Walt happens to be a neighbor of mine, and it's such a pleasure to have you here on the program, Walt.
Pleasure's mine. Thank you for the invite.
Every day I walk our dogs past your house, and we see these incredible bird houses that you build from hand, and then along our, I don't know, mile and a half walk, every other house seems to have one of your bird houses in the yard. I love it. How long have you been doing the birdhouses?
Birdhouses for approximately 20 years.
For about 20 years.
Yeah.
And then what was it that made you transition into making owl boxes?
Well, I had a few calls from, one was from Pacific Coast Wildlife Care, and others were from friends that have vineyards. And it seemed like some of their existing owl boxes were in disrepair. Uh-huh. They wanted someone to work on them, make them, like new. That's when I figured, hey, I have an opportunity here to get into the owl box business. So
because aside from a mailbox where people just need one, and they probably have it, you build them pretty sturdy, so they're there for a long time. With owl boxes, you have a growing number of vineyards, a growing number of vintners who want these owl boxes. And the owl boxes are just a place to invite the owls. How does an owl know that that's their home?
Okay. They like the hole that's in the owl box. Mm-hmm. It's inviting to go in, and it could be a future home for them. But once they get in and they see that it's like a one-bedroom condo,
right?
They can come in and look at it, and then, of course, the male will go out and get a gopher or a owl or a rat or mice. They'll come in, put it into the owl box or droop it over the opening and be a proud dad. He's saying,
"Look what I brought home!"
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. So,
what's the number one pest when it comes to vineyards that they are trying to get rid of? Is it gophers?
Gophers, right?
Number one,
and they are incredible eaters of gophers and rats and mice and owls too.
If they weren't using owls, they would have to use some form of pesticide, right?
Right. Well, they do trap, and that's good. We'd like to see them use the traps over poison.
Right, for sure. Now, you mentioned the Pacific Wildlife Care. They are based in Morro Bay.
Correct.
And you have a very interesting arrangement with them. Describe that for us.
Yeah, the Pacific Wildlife Care has a campaign now for inviting new members in, and when they do join, they will receive a professionally well-structed owl box.
If you do say so yourself.
Yes. Because from Central Coast Owl Boxes.
So many vintners on the Central Coast who may have not considered joining Pacific Wildlife Care now have a major incentive to. If they're going to purchase an owl box anyway, why not just join Pacific Wildlife Care and get one for free?
Yes, correct. I agree 100%.
Yeah. So what does Pacific Wildlife Care do exactly?
Well, they basically rehabilitate and return orphaned and injured wildlife back to the natural status or environment. Uh-huh. They also teach the public for the care and really just understanding wildlife and the care of those.
Right. And this could be terrestrial animals or sea creatures. It doesn't matter, right?
Doesn't matter.
And sometimes they're the victims of like a roadside sort of thing where they get hit by a vehicle. In other cases, it might be, some sort of trash that's in the ocean that they get caught up in, or whatever it may be. They're rehabilitated there at Pacific Wildlife Care. And I imagine it's somewhat of a shoestring budget?
Yes, yeah. I think the fish and game I'd think give them some budget.
Right.
But yeah, it's got to be by donation and hopefully more money coming in from membership.
I was going to say it. Membership is a big part of that, and so they, the Vineyards, or maybe you want an owl box in your own yard, or you have a garden or whatever you'd like to protect. I know the owls are out there because just last night, Ricardo and I were walking the dogs again right past your house, and we saw an owl that I would guess would be one of these barn owls. It has I get maybe all owls have round faces, but it had like a whitish sort of round face and a nice wingspan on it. That was for sure. Just right down the street from you.
Yeah, you know, owls are all over the place. I mean, they're in the trees, they're in barns, but what we're trying to do is make sure they have a healthy nesting environment, and their numbers will grow, and of course, then they'll take care of these rodents without the use of the pesticides.
Right. And do you need to make the box out of a specific type of wood?
Yes. What we use is exterior grade 3/4 inch plywood. And then once they're cut into the pieces that we will epoxy glue together, we also screw them in, countersink and fill, and 4 coats of exterior heat-resistant paint.
Oh, okay.
So they're made to last.
Because they're out there in the Paso Robles region where it can get really hot. Is that why they're heat resistant?
Correct.
Yeah. And because it does get, I just was driving through there 2 days ago, or it might have even been yesterday. And Paso gets on the warm side for sure. Yeah. And so how many boxes do you have out there now?
Well, we just installed 15 at a vineyard in Paso Robles.
Really?
Yeah. Dow Vineyards. I hope I can say their name.
Yeah, Dow. That's spelled what? D-A-O-U,
yes,
and they make great wine. I've had it. Yeah.
Incredible wine, incredible. And the venue there is just incredible. They're going to be having the weddings, and of course their food and wine tasting is just fantastic. So, and a beautiful hilltop vineyard.
Oh, right.
Which made installation kind of a
trick?
Interesting. Yes, yeah. We were carrying cement and water and all up and down the hills, but it was great.
Is there a specific number of acres where like one owl box per 1 acre? Or?
Okay, we just installed a residential home with just a small lot. If there's problems with rodents, 1 box will do in a small area. The larger, let's say we have 100 to 150 acres, probably 10 to 15 would be adequate. My philosophy is the more you have out there, you're working with numbers, and not all the owl boxes will be successfly filled with a family each year.
Yeah.
Some will have 2 nesting times. We're back to back in the same year. So it's good to get the numbers out there, but 15 to for 150 acres, that's good. They should be approximately 80 yards to 100 yards between each box.
Is there a best time of year to put them in?
Anytime. The best time is as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Because the male will be attracted to the box, and then of course the female, after she's being treated with different rodents and that, they get acclimated during the summer, and then they will have their nesting time in spring. It's just the sooner you get it there, the better. You build it, they will come.
They will come, right. And you don't need to be a vineyard to take advantage of this deal at Pacific Wildlife Care? No,
you don't. They're sending out, as I mentioned, the invitations, I think, at this time to vineyards and different growers. But, if you give them a call there, boy, I don't have their number just off the top, but if you give them a call, they'll put you in the right direction.
Yeah, good. Well, Walt Weller, my neighbor, and a really just upstanding guy who makes fantastic. You're still in the business of mailboxes too?
Oh, yes. And birdhouses, yes.
They're pretty amazing. So we've got all your information, your phone number specifically. I know that's how you like to work. We've got that on the website at eatdrinkexplore.com. We're back next week with a lot more great guests. Make it a fantastic Saturday. We'll see you.